Hello, welcome to Needing a Meeting Point 2. All right, so this was supposed to happen over on Mish's channel, but I understand that some people are still needing a meeting. And so I'm here, and I am not in my studio because it's cold back there. And it was a cold day, and I'm tired of being cold. So I'm in my room. My son's here. They're watching The Man on the Moon, the story about Andy Kaufman. And I don't know, is Misha supposed to come over? If we get everybody over on her channel, then that's what we were intending. But it's my understanding that my channel was posted, and it's fine. We'll do this. Anybody here? Hello, Misha. Panic Manning was. Well, I'm here, and yeah. What are we doing? Glue me in. Hello, Lord Kiss Freak, Chris. Good to see ya. What are we doing, y'all? The lifeboat. I was still in the last meeting. Yeah, I noticed that when I came back in from the barn. Yeah, I noticed that your thing was still up, so I just ended it. I didn't know because I talked and nobody talked back. So anyway, I tried mine. For some reason, I can go live, no sound, no, can't go live. Is that right? No sound, no nada. Okay. Hello, Kelly B69. Welcome to Needing a Meeting. Good to see you. Yeah. Eating. Yeah, no worries. So you're not able to do anything. Were you trying through a streaming service, or were you trying through YouTube Live? No worries. Yeah. We'll get you there. So how's everybody doing? Making it through this Christmas? What's OBS? Hello, Anik. Well, hello, La Chameleon. It's so good to see you. Yeah, I've missed you. Hello, S. Williams. Welcome. Oh, well, thanks. The barn must do wonders for a girl. I spend at least twice a day in the barn spa. Thank you, you guys. Hello, Debbie's here. Good to see you again. So what's happening? Is anybody going to come in? Oh, you know what? Let me put up the link. If anybody wants to come in and talk on screen, we do that here. And anybody is welcome to come in. And if you need to talk, I'm not a talking head. I don't do very well with it. I do better in conversation. And that's what I like to do here. So, okay. I would like that, La Chameleon. Yay. Carol, did you start making picnic tables yet? Not yet, but I sure did like that. They think of all kinds of clever things for chickens nowadays. So anyway, that link there, that one that says HTTPS Studio Restream, if you click on that link, it'll let you in this room where I'm speaking now. and tried to post the link to needing a meeting under Mish's channel, but I'm not sure if it worked. Okay. Alrighty. Yes, if you're just doing it in comments under a video, something like that, then sometimes YouTube frowns on that, and they just delete the whole comment. I've had that happen. Hello. Hey, Misha. Are you there?
Oh, I
Excellent.
had to unmute it.
Do what?
I had to unmute it. I
Oh,
had it
okay.
muted because I was trying to listen to the boat earlier and nobody was in here.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Oh, mess ups, mess ups. At least there's that.
Right on.
Oh no, I was still hanging out. I didn't even think. But at least we're here now. If you don't want to do this though, we can.
Uh-oh. All right. Oh, here she is. There she is.
Hey,
Hey,
so you didn't hear anything I just said, did you?
not a thing.
Get it together, Misha. Goodness. Uh, Great example for how not to do YouTube right here. uh, so no, I was hanging out. I put it on mute so I could listen to the boat,
Yeah.
and I was hanging out in the chat room, and yeah, I wasn't even. I just had a video on read loop, and that way at least it wasn't nothing if people come on there.
Okay.
But yeah, that's whenever I set it in the boat, I was still in there, so I thought it was going to still work right. And then I come back on, and I'm like, oh no.
Oops.
Oopsie. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah. Well, no worries. We're all here. We're all
But I hate taking away from your time too. I don't want to be doing that, because I know that time is short as far as visits.
well, and I don't. I woke up this morning and something was just feeling off. I don't know what it was, and I journaled and I journaled and I journaled, and nothing was coming. And I guess he's having one of those days too. So maybe it has to do with that. Yeah, he's been a bit of a struggle today, I think.
You know what? It totally. I mean, if you don't want to do this, I totally understand.
Well,
Because
I just I want to be. We can do this, and if some more people come on, maybe I can just kind of toggle myself
be
off,
there.
and you guys can have a meeting, and then I can kind of visit with him. I don't want to make him feel like I'm just ignoring him. You
Oh
know,
no, 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 no. You
um,
know,
he.
family.
I think this is the second Christmas that he has not done with his adoptive family.
Really,
Yeah,
that's such a. I would like to actually discuss that one of these days. Get a bunch of us adoptees and bio moms and adoptive moms and dads. I would
yeah,
like to do that one of these days because it's something that I think really needs to be discussed. There's so much there that kind of just gets overlooked
yeah.
on every side of it. So yeah, no, I totally get it.
Yeah.
And I'll be a non-talking head. I'll just be a talking pictures memes person.
Right on.
I talk to myself all the time anyway, so that's the difference, right?
That's perfect. That little girl with the cotton candy coming
Isn't
up.
she great? I love her
She's
so much.
great.
She's like, oh my god, what is this? And then I'm like, yep, no, y'all watch. Y'all watch. Oh. But now anybody else wants to call in and hang out and be a talking head or talking meme, we can do that too. 'Cause I like to talk too.
I'll just keep putting the link so anybody that wants to come in
Yeah.
can. Yeah.
And I'll kind of be able to watch chat. It's a little different on this end than it is on like regular YouTube chat. So if I miss something,
Yeah.
it's not on purpose.
Right on.
But I got this, girl. I love you and thank you for being a host. Because apparently Mitch cannot get his stuff together. One of these days. No. Lord Kiss Freak, seriously, I do though, and I have for a long time. People say that, and I'm like, but I do, and I make myself laugh.
I couldn't function if I didn't talk to myself.
Right? I mean, I was an only child, and so that was the only person I had to talk to for a long time. I say we. I don't even think about it. I just always thought I was a Gemini. Oh,
Right
therapy's
on.
probably a good thing.
Never hurts, especially if you get a good therapist.
Yeah, I'm in the lookout for one. My last one ghosted me really hard, and it was a
Oh,
hurtful ghosting too, because
it is damaging.
it really, and
I've had two therapists ghost me.
it's like
And
seriously, she
I'm
told
no what about Bob, but even if I was, that's not okay.
for reals though. I think I could be, but I also think it could be kind of entertaining. I would if I were in therapy, I would want somebody like me, because man, it'd be a challenge, But
Yeah,
I mean, it was a mistake to begin with, because she was my friend before we started doing the therapy, and
yeah,
she just she had so much going on, and since we were friends, it was one of those. Well, she'll understand. She'll be okay with it. But just over and over and over again, that kind of thing happens. It just puts a strain on him, and I guess it's just too much. So I'm in the lookout. That's right. I mean, every day. It's 3:40, isn't it though?
yeah,
Central Standard Time.
yeah,
Yeah. And any time that you guys come on, Carol will put that link out, because if you're needing a meeting, you're needing a meeting. And
yeah,
so whatever needs to be talked about, we joke a lot of times, we talk serious, we cry sometimes, we hold each other up, we break down, we do everything that you would want in a meeting or a very close friendship we're doing
yeah.
together, because Carol has started this amazing thing.
And I've broken down here many a time. I'm not a I'm here just needing a meeting just as much as anybody else.
It's
That was Stanley with the fist.
yeah, yeah. These are some of my favorites. I just have a little reel. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's one of my real.
Yeah. No worries, Anik.
No, you're good. Yeah.
I mean, it's most people do the 30-minute increments. I just can't see. I seem to do better with weird times frames.
Yeah, I live in a world of timelessness my entire life. I have one reason why Alice is such a thing for me, I think.
Right on.
I use the word ish, or the I ish, I, yeah, I do that right there.
Happens the best
8:30 ish.
times. I named a cat after him. I love that.
Heck yes.
Yes. I have a goat named Buddy Holly. I have a goat named George Jones. Let's see who else. What other? Oh, I have a Gary Cooper goat. I think those are the only first and last name goats. Misha, I can't hear you if you're talking. Just so you know.
No, the king come in.
Okay. Oh, right on.
Paula, it's so lovely to see you. I miss you.
What's that?
Paula, full of hope.
Oh, right on.
Yay.
I called myself. They're hollering at me.
No, girl, go, 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 go.
Well, no, I'm going to shut the door because I don't want to.
Y'all, I roped her in and didn't mean to.
Yeah, I don't. You know, he. I don't know. I don't know how to fix that with the adoptive family thing, and I get it's not for me to fix.
It's not, no. And I mean, something that a lot of people just expect is with adopted kids that we're just going to fit right in and never know anything's up, never know that there's any problem. But at birth, we are taken away from the only place that we knew. We're the entire first 9 months of existence.
Yeah.
And
I'm
so
having a little trouble hearing you, Misha. Let me turn you up a
are you
little
okay?
bit. Yeah.
It helps if I had my good microphone on. See, I was so not ready.
But of course you have a cat named Gene after Gene Simmons. Of course. I would expect nothing else.
Right?
That
That chicken table, that was so adorable. I was like, that is great. I had
was
to send that right
great.
away.
Yeah, I love that. Picnic table. That
I'm gonna
does
have that
sound
pulled
better.
up here in a minute.
So anyway, you were saying,
It's just, it's one of those things that even like I was told from as long as I can remember that I was adopted. That's me, by
okay.
the way. That's me, the brown haired one. Um, but even though everything, like I had a fairy tale life, I really
Yeah,
did. Everything was supposedly perfect, and I was supposed to be a princess, and I was. But I still always knew that there was something not right. Like every holiday, my agoraphobia, I remember now what it feels like, my agoraphobia. I remember feeling whenever I was a kid every holiday. Every holiday I went, I always was the black sheep of the family. And it's just, it's something that's ingrained in you. And so even if you've got like the perfect childhood growing up, there's still things that you don't even know how to explain, but they're there. There's
yeah.
still the abandonment issues without having them. And you don't have a way to express them.
No, because
You know?
I mean, when it's happening to a fresh new baby, there's no understanding what's going on. There's no verbalizing it. So
Because
it's kind of a deeper, more primal theme.
yeah, like the primal wounding, that it's
Hmm.
it's it's for real there. It's, I mean, it's been documented.
Yeah,
It's, for 9 months while you were growing, you have sounds, you have senses, you have feelings, emotions,
yeah,
and it's just, they're there, and then all of a sudden, birth would have to be tragic enough as it is. Can you imagine? You
right.
know, going through that, and then you're never again to see that person or to feel that person, so you're in a whole new world. And it does something to a person, and they don't address
Yeah,
it. Now they're getting better, but they especially didn't back in the 70s address it for the bio moms. It was like almost they were selling babies in a way. They didn't do
yeah.
for the bio moms, they didn't do
And you
anything
know
to
what?
help.
It's not like they were. They were.
Yeah,
They were.
exactly.
They
Yeah,
were.
100%. I feel that way. They, instead of spending all this money to give to the adoptive parents, because they got that apparently, excuse me,
Yeah.
why not spend that on doing something to help these mothers that are just starting out, that are just, they're confused, they don't know what's going on,
I
you
wish
know
I would have found somebody like you early on in my
seriously.
pregnancy. I wish I would have found just one person that would have challenged me on that decision.
And they didn't. They were not in the business for that. They were in the business to sell babies. And it's a black market that is such, and it's a hard thing because it's so much heart in it
Yeah.
on every single side. The adoptive family, every single person they're affected with, but then they just expect everybody to just go on with their life like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a tricky thing. It's really hard for everybody. But I'm really, if not for you as a parent and actually meeting bio moms, I had a real chip on my shoulder for mine, and I still kind of do. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but seeing you guys reaching out has done a lot for me, and getting to know you guys has shown me that there's a whole nother side that I never considered. Hey,
Yep.
Kenneth. Mwah.
And every person's different that does make that decision. But for me,
Yeah,
I just wish somebody would have tried to at least challenge me on my decision and maybe just help ask questions that would make me think about whether or not I could have any confidence in myself being a parent. And that
right.
was
Well, I
all
mean, even
at the end of the day, that was what it boiled down to is I had no confidence in myself to be a
right.
parent.
Well, even as a mom that was supposed to be married and things were good, I still was scared to death.
Well,
Guys,
yeah,
it's hard to see the comments, but I'm seeing y'all pop in, and I'm like, oh, I love it's Feed, it's Paula, it's Locomotion, it's all y'all people. I love y'all so much. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, and there is sidetrack Sally Misha. Totally.
Christy Colwell is going to be joining us in about 5 minutes.
Good, Christy.
Okay.
And all of y'all can join in, and all of y'all can click that link and come up if you want to. You don't have to show your faces. You can be like me and go chicken.
Yeah. You just all you do is you just when you click on the camera icon at the bottom of the screen, and when you see the line through, that means that you're not on camera, just like Misha's doing. All right.
But yeah, no, it was scary for me just being a new mom, and I wanted Samantha. I was so excited, but at the same time, I had so many questions. I had so many doubts in myself. Like I'd never even held a baby before. I had to take a baby doll and change the diaper just to practice.
Yeah.
I could just imagine being in that situation and not having anybody on my side.
Yeah.
That's just a hard thing.
Yeah.
I can't even.
And I was in that life where, when things get serious, people scatter from you like cockroaches with the light turned on.
Mm-hmm.
Things get real,
Yep, I experienced that quite a bit for other reasons. But yeah, to me, if they would have taken the funding that they had, put it towards something else that would be like education and teaching how to be moms, I think that'd be good for everybody, whether they're contemplating or not. I think
who knows what a world that could help create.
Yeah, I mean, a loving one that helps you prepare beforehand instead of getting you when you're down. Yeah,
I did not see your comment about Christy coming in. Anik, is that the one? She asked me if I'd seen the comment she posted above, or is it before that one? Was there one before that one? Okay. Was that the one? I'm assuming that was the one, Anik, that Christy was coming on in about 5 minutes. Well, I'm gonna while I have you here, Misha, I'm gonna do an experiment and toggle myself off and see if you're still on.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
I'm here. I just can't. The only thing is, I won't be able to toggle people in.
I could totally hear you. Could you guys hear her when it was just her on the screen? If so, maybe do a 5x5 if you don't mind.
The only thing is I won't be able to toggle people in, Carol.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I'll take the computer in there with me, and I'll have it there on the couch. So when I see people, I can just click on the button.
Awesome. I'm sorry that you're having to do this.
Good deal. Thanks, you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So it's experimenting.
Yeah.
I can't seem to get my stuff right for nothing as far as all that's concerned. It's just my brain wants to not work right anymore. And so thinking I have everything set up and then getting it done is two separate things right now.
Yeah.
But
you know what? I mean, I'll just keep saying it because I still believe it. I wouldn't expect it to be different.
Yeah, it just sucks. It sucks really hard.
Yeah.
That I don't want it to be about. I don't want to be in that mode.
Yeah. I know.
Like last night I was trying to do it, and I was, we recorded it. I thought, but then I went back to get it and can't find it now. But we had a really good just chat session, me and Quiet Girl.
Right on.
There was fighting. There was me not wanting to admit stuff. There was her wanting to make sure I admit stuff. Yeah, it was really good, and I think it would have benefited a lot of people. It helped me. She does that though. Yeah,
right on.
But this is all just, I'm not going to let it knock me down, and I'm going to go through this, and hopefully maybe other people can just see it from my side, and we can all work together to learn how to work on stuff. Yeah. That's my goal, because I'm not going to let any of this keep me down.
That's right.
I'm going to look like a messed up. I'm going to look like I don't know what I'm doing kind of thing, but that's okay, because you know what? We all feel that way. We just don't show it, because on Facebook, on all these social media places, we can show the finished products.
Yeah. Can you see the comments, Misha?
I can. It's hard for me to focus though.
Okay, this one, Fee is saying, I'm so sorry, Misha. I hope you can get it to work okay. I'll pray.
See,
She said,
thank you.
that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
And it will. It's going to work out. It's just I've got to keep trying with it. And I just have to be patient with myself.
Yeah,
And thank God I've got friends. I've got people that are there for me now. And that's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to understand and accept. Whenever we've been in the world that many of us have been in,
yeah,
it's you don't trust people like you want
yeah,
to.
yeah,
And so I've actually found that here, and I am so grateful for that.
yeah.
Y'all just don't even know. I hope that tonight can bring some people over here at least to let them realize that they've got so many avenues of people where they can connect.
Yeah.
And like Tommy says, and it's true, because otherwise I would be here in my little jail cell by myself, feeling
Yeah.
sorry for myself. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't want to be feeling sorry.
Yeah. I made isolation a habit for so long, you know. It can become a habit.
It really truly can. It can be so uncomfortable to not be isolated, even though that's all you want. You want to get out of that
Yeah.
so bad, but then you have the opportunities, and it's easier with what you know.
I get
That's
that.
been a
And I find sometimes I want to be alone, but knowing people are around if needed is very reassuring. Yeah, I get
body
that.
double.
Yeah.
I'm really into this body double thing right now. I want to try this so bad. I'm going to try it with a couple of people, because it's basically you're being accountable for yourself, but you're not having somebody down your throat pushing buttons saying you've got to do this. They're doing their thing, you're doing your thing, but you're just checking in. And with that, it's kind of like being on a diet. If you do it by yourself, it's not nearly as successful as if you go and have a friend do it.
Right.
And they say with ADHDers especially, it helps with that because you've got the focus of knowing, but it's not like stressful. You just got somebody there doing their thing at the same time. Well, we can't do that in our worlds right now. At least I can't because I don't have a whole lot of people around to do that. But online, I think we can make it work. Just
Hey,
knowing.
Christy.
Hey.
Christy!
I wanted to spend a little bit of time with my son. So I thought I'd toggle out and let you guys, but I'm going to keep the computer by me. So if somebody pops on, I can pop them in.
Sure,
Okay.
absolutely. You go spend some time and we'll do a meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, you guys.
Of
Love you.
course.
Love you too, Misha.
Love you. And give me a second to get the chat pulled up so I can see what's going on here.
Okay.
And we can
Um, we were talking about isolating, and
okay.
Fee Crispin says, I am a hermit. I know I'm on here chatting, but I really withdraw and just stay home and hide. I'm trying
Yeah.
next year to make more of an effort to go out more and socialize more and push myself more. It's a good thing to do.
That really is. That's the only way we're
It's a
going to get
good
out of it.
goal. It's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I'm gonna toggle out, you guys.
Okay,
okay.
love.
Hi again, Lord Kids Freak. Anik, hi everybody. You know, uh See, Kristen, I'm kind of a hermit too, honestly. It's really easy to kind of get in that energy because sometimes it's comforting to isolate, right? Because um, sometimes just even dealing with other people's energies can be too much. And I'm just so proud of you for being here, and I'm so proud of you for chatting. And it's a step. It might not seem like a big step, or maybe it feels like a huge step, but it's really um, it, it's it's really awesome, and it can be, especially this time of year, it can be really difficult. And I'm going to let you guys know I'm on my phone, so I have to look over here to see the chat. So but it's just kind of how it is. And I've got a little bit of cold, so I've got some tea in my cup here. Um, so let's see. Debbie is here. So glad you're here. Debbie's here can relate. That's it's kind of comforting when you know that people can relate, right? It makes it feel less isolated. A huge amount of health
Oh,
problems. So that's why, yeah, health problems can really, really make it so that you just don't want to go outside. Ben, how are you? So glad you're here, man.
Hey, just thought I'd pop in just to say hi and
Yeah,
make sure everybody's riled up and yeah, get them all going at each
we need
other.
right,
And,
right,
get the blood flow going.
right. Let's see. Everybody's kind of saying hi. Anika's letting us. Yeah, we are here every day at 3:40 Central Time, and you guys are all welcome. Oh, I will feel fine soon. I have this thing every time I get around little kids, I like catch all of the germs that they have. So that's what this is, but it's okay. They're amazing, and I'm glad to see it. La Chameleon says, Fee, I can really relate to how you are. My husband is my rock, and we rarely socialize. I have one workmate who I text out of work. She's hermit part two. Um, it. I think you probably see a lot more, especially in the winter time. It's a lot easier to isolate in the winter time because it's cooler outside. There's not leaves on the trees in most places. And I think just there's a lot of expectations around this time of year. And there's a lot of, it's just a lot more difficult for most people to get out. And I think it's probably maybe a lot more common than you realize. And so there's something comforting about that. Um, let's see, La Chameleon. I just don't relate to the majority of people I come into contact with. I don't want to be false just to be someone's friend. And that's amazing. We don't need false friends, right? And depending on where you're at and what you've got going on, I know where I'm at. I live in the South, and my belief system is extremely different from most people in the South. And so, I understand that as far as like, you need to be who you are and true to who you are because you're not really, it's not beneficial to your soul or to the other person if you're, being false. Right. And I think that's really important. Um,
And it's hard. That mask gets really, really heavy. Just going out, that's one of the things that I think
Yeah.
keeps me from going out sometimes is I don't want to put on a mask. I don't like to show my sad self. I don't like to show my negative
Yeah.
self. I don't like to show my down self. And sometimes that's all I have. And so whenever I come to chat, it's like, this is who I want to be. This is who I used to be. This is who I need to be again. And so I feel closer to being Misha when I'm here in the groups than I do any other time.
Right.
And so
Right.
it doesn't feel like it's a mask. It feels like it's me.
And you get to be you for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And that's got to feel really good. La Chameleon, there's a lot of people who isolate year round. And I can respect that. I mean, that's a thing, you know? And uh he says, I don't have heaps of energy. I want to be friends and chat with everyone and keep in touch, but I run out of energy fast and then let everyone down and feel terrible.
Oh my God.
Um, please don't do that to yourself. We all only have so much energy we can expend, right? And sometimes most of that energy might just be getting out of bed. It might just be picking up the phone and joining the lifeboat or needing a meeting. And you know what? It is really okay, I promise you, to tell somebody, if they send you a message, you don't have to respond. Please do not put yourself in that position to feel obligated. You can give a thumbs up emoji. You can send a GIF. You can send a heart. You can even say, I will get back to you when I have a chance. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone. And please don't, you can kind of really go down this rabbit hole of feeling like you have to give everybody a little bit of yourself. And that can be exhausting and that can exacerbate your isolation and things like that. And so please give yourself permission to to understand that you don't have to respond right away. I think that's the biggest thing that I, could say. Lord Kiss Freak, out of YouTube and Messenger, I only hang out with like 3 to 4 people. To be honest, guys, I have one friend in the town that I live in, literally one friend. And I go see her every once in a while. I go into town and I talk to, the cashiers and stuff like that. That's me, not isolating, but you guys are it. And I've got 2 other besties. And so, that's the thing. Um,
Too,
luckily,
though, I can so totally relate.
yeah, my mother was agoraphobic, so maybe I have some genetic tendencies. Spending years in local politics was tough for me in this regard. I was driven, so I fought the fear. Um, let's see, let me just do a few things here. He says, I do. Sorry, everyone here that I do that to. Um, I don't think he needs to apologize to anybody. I think of everything. Everybody in this group is going to be so understanding. He
Well,
says
and
it's
that's the
blood.
thing, though, too, is we feel like we're not capable of doing anything because we want to be there for people, and then we're like, why are we telling people we're there for them if we can't be there for them? And it becomes
Right.
such a thing. I get so stuck, and it hurts so bad because I see all these people on the scrolling on the timeline. I don't ever do anymore, but I go to the boat, and if I see people that are hurting, I'm like, automatically, I just want to reach out. And then
Right.
I see them in my messages, and I'm like, oh my god, I have so many messages, and I cannot keep up. I miss them, and it's just horrible, horrible feeling. So I totally can relate because we do it out of love. We do it out of wanting to be there for people, but at the same time, we feel horrible because we're not being there because there's just so many.
Right.
And so that's something that I personally need to work on. And I think it's almost comforting to know that I'm not the only one doing that. And so for us to just come together and try to find ways to work around it and to make it work
Right.
for us instead of against, that is huge for me. That is something I really need personally. So I got you. I know.
Maybe one of the things that you could say instead of I'm here for you if you need me, maybe something you could say would be I empathize with you. Or, we all know, like, I'm going to pray for you. I don't mean that in the sudden way of I'm going to pray for you. I mean, I'm going to pray for you. Or,
Right.
I'm sending out good vibes and good thoughts because sometimes that's what people need too. Like sometimes just to know that someone is there listening. I found the most powerful statement that I could say to anybody is I hear you and I understand what you're saying. I might not completely understand it, maybe on one level, like I might not understand the drug or alcohol side of it, but I can understand feeling lonely. So, I think just acknowledging the person, I hear you, I see you, I'm so glad that you're here, can maybe sometimes even be that could be a big step for you. And that could be a really important thing for them to hear, you know? Um,
Well, and something that you taught me actually recently was to refer them, and that's what I've been trying to do. Is because I don't necessarily understand where somebody's coming from. I want to. I
mhm,
want to know what's going on with them. I want to know if there's something that I've learned from my experience. What can I do to help? Do I have resources? This and that. Um, but also, what you taught me was to refer them instead of taking it all and putting it on my shoulders.
yeah,
To say, hey, I can't be there like I want to be, but here's somebody, or here's the meeting, here's the boat, here's all these
yeah,
different things. And that has helped me so much. And I still have so many people that I've got to go back to and say, hey, look, y'all, I'm sorry I'm a mess up, but here you go. Let's do this together. And, that's for me, it's overwhelming just getting some of the messages from people caring about how I'm doing and feeling. I'm so grateful for that. It is such a beautiful thing, but sometimes I can't get back to them. And so it's knowing and explaining this and just learning. This is a whole experiment. None of us have done this before. This social media online connection
oh
thing.
yeah,
It's so new. We've got growing pains. We've got learning curves. We've got things that as long as we just hold on to each other and think outside of our own vision, think this
hmm,
person may be going through so much more than what we already think or what we've already
right,
been, you've already told us you're going through so much more. We're just seeing the surface of what's going on. And so if somebody says something, don't just already assume that it's this. Be open
right,
to listening. And I have to be real careful about not taking it on myself, like they're saying something and it's
yeah,
just to me, because it's not. It's just something that was said, and we lose so much in translation online. And so
It was
just
really
remembering this is we're looking at text. We're not seeing the facial expressions. And I've always been the type of person, I can read people and I've felt their energy as far as what kind of mood they're in. They can act like they're all happy, but sometimes I can feel that they're so not, and I can't get that expressed, and vice versa. And so we have to just learn and work together as far as doing that.
absolutely.
It's
Yeah. And remember too, everything you see, like you might see somebody who looks really put together and you might not really know what's going on behind the scenes. So I know I heard somewhere somebody said social media makes them feel really alone sometimes. Um, please don't do that to yourself either. Like you are seeing life on social media through a filtered lens. I mean, people look, like they only put the best out. So please be mindful of that. And I wanted to say something. Uh, Sophie Crispin says, because I help run the lifeboat and run the Facebook page, it's hard to because I reply to everyone and they get a bit overwhelmed. Um, I want to say to you, are you the only admin? Do you feel like you have to reply to everyone? Are you the only admin? Um, Maybe what you could do is, even sometimes just hearting a post. You know, the one thing that I had to learn is if everything's important, nothing is important. And what that means is not everything is top priority. And I'm not saying that the lifeboat and things that are made are not the top priority. But if you have a post that says, I need to talk to someone now, versus a post of me, because I did this earlier today, standing in front of my Christmas tree, like, you don't have to reply to that. If there's too many posts of people really needing help, who can you reach out to? Because the thing that's amazing about the boat and that's amazing about here is everybody wants to help. And just like I'll let you know, Anik, she called me and she's like, "Hey, we're on needing a meeting. There's some stuff going on. Will you hop on?" Absolutely. So it's things like that. Like who's good at what? Maybe make a list of the things on the boat. Who's really good at this? Who's good at that? Obviously don't send maybe somebody who's struggling with wanting to use or to drink to me because I'm not going to be that person. But if somebody's a little depressed, I'm your girl. You know what I mean? So kind of
And
see if
sometimes we need the funny. Sometimes we need people like Ben, who's in seventh, who are all the time when things get really, just really, really out there, sad and stuff. Then they come in and they are so good about changing that mood to where that we can all laugh and come together. I think he's wanting to say something too, because he was doing his drumstick a little bit, something.
Well, yeah, that's just. I mean, that is it's a coping mechanism a lot of people use. Some of us use humor and whatnot. But yeah, that was a really good point you made earlier in talking about people with Facebook, that it is decidedly antisocial, honestly, when you put forth a false projection of, and you're trying to compare your frailties, which you are aware of, to other people's propaganda. And I'll use the word propaganda because that's really what it's turned into. And it's like, hold on, are you really? That is where people tend to, when we judge ourselves by the standards of others, we tend to have a really unrealistic view because, yeah, we're seeing this externalized, perfected image of them, the way we see them, and then we're comparing our faults with their perceived perfections, and we will always come up short. And that's where you get imposter syndrome and all sorts of things like that.
Yes, and that is such a good point, and like this is me unfiltered right here, y'all. Like there's not a lot going on here, as opposed to some of the pictures that I put up. I mean, it just shows the difference. I did want to say something. Nadine, are you? Oh, okay. Cut myself off from others. Okay, good. I have cut myself off from others. I explained to my friends my feelings of the one-way friendship. I don't get that overwhelmed thing too, and I don't always handle it well. Hi, Kelly. Glad you're here. Um, the chat is, let's see. I added Alan and he helps now. And maybe could you add some more people? Maybe put up a post or reach out to some of the other wrenches on the boat and say, would you be willing to help with this? And you could get like a little group together and you could maybe make a post and ask for, like, hey, the boat is getting so big right now. We used to be able to do it this way. Now we're looking for people that we can delegate things to. So if somebody's needing to talk, reach out to us. Let us know when you're available. Let us know what you can talk about. And then if somebody pops up and they say, they're in Australia, let's say, and they've got something going on, you can say, oh, there's these different people, reach out to one of them. And that could be a good way. It can be hard to delegate like that sometimes because we feel a personal responsibility, but you give more effective help when you don't take it all on yourself because what you're really good at could get lost because if you're trying to help someone that you're not with a situation that you're not really good at, it would be better to say, look, I can't really help you with this, but this person can, you know. So
like with my group, my Facebook group that I have, it kind of got people fell through the cracks because we had so few people that were able to stay on and do what needed to be done. And so I'm in the recruitment process of bringing it back. And so I'm trying to recruit people that want to do it, that are like-minded, that could benefit from it. And then doing classes because I can run Facebook videos, no problem, y'all. Not like YouTube. And doing that, showing if you do this right here, and that's going to keep the group involvement and it's going to keep people up to date. And then if you do that and you have these people that are good at this right here, they can talk, they can care, they can listen, they can resource everybody, if you know who is good at what. Because in my learning, especially addicts, we need something to keep us busy. We need something to let us be invested and to keep feeling like we're doing something that is positive. If we don't get that personally, anyways, I feel like, oh, and I start just sliding down that road. And I start getting really negative on myself because I'm not seeing the positive affirmations that come from doing good. And so if we can get that together to where that we can delegate this person here, I mean, it's so much easier because then you don't have to worry about the people that are saying, I need help right now, and then not being seen. Just like in the chat groups now, it's so hard right now whenever it's great big and there's so many people talking. Because my eyes, they turn triplets, and so every single word I'm seeing is in triples. It's like somebody took a typewriter or stamp it, and so keeping up with it's hard. But the more wrenches we have, then everything that I miss, somebody else catches. Everything that somebody else misses, and we just work together, and we're beautiful that way. We just got to learn how to make it work in other areas, and we're doing that. That's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing. I'm so proud of everybody. We're all reaching out. We're all doing our part to build ourselves up, even though it doesn't feel like it. I just wanted to crawl up and stay in bed all day today. 100% did not want to get up. The first thing I did before anything else was get on the meeting because I knew that it was time. I was like, oh Lord, it's on. I haven't even really said anything to Bradley yet, hardly today. Actually, I need to do that here pretty quick, but because this is so important. This keeps me from dwelling on what I should, if it weren't for you guys, what I would be dwelling on. Right. And that's not what I need to be doing, and I can come here and know that you guys, you want to be here for me and you want to let me be there for you. And that is so much better than where I came
in. Sorry, every once in a while you might see me look off or snap. My dog's eating some of my charcoal drawing pencils, and I'm just not even gonna you know what? I'm just gonna let him go.
Charcoal's a cleanser.
I was gonna get him, and I'm like, nah, forget it. Anique says, Debbie's here. When I feel overwhelmed, I often either freeze like a deer in headlights or I start churning, going from place to place to place, task to task to task. I deal with ADD. Freezing like a deer in headlights, it can be a trauma response. It can also be a survival thing. We either fight, flight, or freeze. And I don't I don't know a lot about ADD. I'm sorry, but one thing that I know to be true for me is, and my oldest daughter struggles with anxiety and really bad OCD and just a lot of that kind of stuff. Is if you can do some deep breathing. We do a lot of box breathing here, and we do
No,
meditation, like a little meditation. Box breathing, even something as basic as just putting your hand on your heart, is proven to ground you. Um, and again, I don't deal with ADD, but I know for me, when my mind starts spinning and I'm grasping for everything, it's so hard. And I have to remind myself sometimes. I have to just sit myself down and remind myself, um, sometimes you're not going to have the answer right away. Sometimes you're not going to know what to do right away. And you can't really think clearly when you're in that emotional mind that's spinning around. It's so hard when our emotions take over because it's like everything is coming from this place of I feel, and sometimes our feelings are not what we know to be true. And that can be really hard. And we can make a lot of decisions in that moment that are based off of our feelings, but aren't what we know to be true. And I know for me, sometimes just setting down and looking at it, and you hear me say it all the time on here. Okay, what do we know to be true? That helps me a lot. Now, I don't know if that's going to help you. Um, and if anybody out there has, some information that is better, please pass it on. I am behind in the chat here. But that helps me. And I like to just kind of share that because, like, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But sometimes, you might get a little tidbit from somebody who, and you might be like, "Ah, I'll try that." Box breathing helps me a lot, and that's kind of why we practice it here too every day. Is like, okay, box breathe, and then it just kind of becomes a thing. Um, let's see, Law Chameleon. Small talk is hard for me. I am an empath. Oh, okay. And operate best when my strengths add some value support to a person, even a stranger. Um, Law Chameleon, being an empath, please make sure you're protecting yourself before you go out into the world. Make sure that you call in those protective energies. You put yourself in a protective bubble. If you do work with crystals or whatever that is, put a protective crystal in your pocket if that's your thing. One thing that I do when I get home is I have a bell outside of my door. And it's actually one of those old fashioned bells. It's got like a string that hangs down, and I ding it 3 times, and I just kind of, like, break up the energy and send it out before I even walk in the house. And then if it's been extra overwhelming and you're someone who uses Palo Santo or incense or oils or sage to cleanse yourself, that is a great way to do it as well. Make sure if you're using sage, you follow it with something positive, lemongrass, Palo Santo, something like that, because sage takes all of the energies to ground zero. So it's giving you an open slate. So you need to bring something positive in behind it. But try that. Um, you can even just pray, please protect me while I'm out. Because I'll tell you, I don't know about where y'all are, but I'm in Kentucky and the Walmart here has some wonky ass energies going on. So before I go into Walmart, I'm like, okay. um,
I
and
found physically. Oh, I'm sorry. I
no,
found
you're good.
physically grounding sometimes helps too, where you find it usually works best in grassy
Yeah.
fields or something like that. You just take your shoes off. You try to find something where it's
Mhm.
ground and not concrete, and that's kind of hard at times. But there's
Yeah.
also some modified, and Christy does a meditation that's kind of it is kind of a grounding
Mhm.
meditation that you can do too when you can't get to that. But yes, and I find at least, and you're probably well aware of this, I find most people who are probably have more experience with it than I do, because I just recently discovered this about me and was like, oh wow, that's why when I walk down the hall and I walk by somebody who's mad, I will carry that with me, and I'll just like, why am I ticked off all of a sudden, or
Yes.
why is it I could be in a meeting and I'll look at somebody and I'll like, and then look at somebody else, and it's like, am I getting schizophrenic? And you really start feelings that way. And the natural tendency is for us to isolate, which really, your gifting is dealing with other people. It's really a gift. It's hard to deal with at times, but yeah, just taking care of yourself and just making sure you can just at the end of the day or end of a meeting or
Yeah.
something, just kind of get rid of that garbage and realize they're not your feelings to have. They're other people's.
Right.
They belong to them.
Right.
They can be an aid to you. They could, in helping to deal with somebody who's feeling stress or whatnot. But yeah, ultimately they're not your feelings to have, and it doesn't do you any to have their feelings because you're taking their problems on, and you're not. It'd be one thing if you're at least helping them, but it's not making any difference to them when you're no longer
Right.
dealing with them. Like, oh, this person's mad, so I'm going to be. It's
Yeah.
just going to give you an ulcer, if any.
Right. Fiona, thank you so much, or Fee, thank you so much for being here. Love you all. Merry Christmas. Come back and catch the rest of this when you get a chance throughout the day, because there might be something else that comes on. But Ben, you had an absolute thing, and I think what you said there is true. Knowing your baseline energy is really important, so that you know when your energy kind of gets hijacked by something else that you've walked through. And that's a really important thing, to know. Um, oh, Law Chameleon, of course. I carry obsidian. That is an amazing stone to carry. Absolutely, you can carry a selenite or quartz crystal with it, because that amplifies the power of the obsidian. So it would make it even stronger if you're going into, somewhere. Somebody asked me something. Let me get back up here. Law Chameleon. Christy, are feelings sometimes the same as ants? No, they're two different things. Your feelings is what you feel. Ants are your thoughts. Thoughts are not feelings. Okay, they're two different things. I can have a thought, and as a result of that thought will cause me to feel something. I could think I'm inadequate, which could cause me to feel inadequate and feel sad, but they're not the same thing, because I wouldn't have that feeling necessarily if I didn't have the thoughts. Your feelings are real and valid. There's something that you can work through. Automatic negative thoughts are more like a tape player in your head that is playing a bunch of negative things that you have had said to you, that you believe to be true about yourself, that you feel is true about yourself. Um, and depending on how those are coming through, sometimes none of them are true. Let me give you an example of an automatic negative thought with my daughter. This is the one that's OCD, and really high anxiety. She deals with depression. Her daughter got sick and had to go to the doctor, and she was really worried. She had a little bit of her urine was foamy, which could represent kidney problems, and she was really, really panicked about it. And so they were doing all of the tests and everything, but the pediatrician said, this happens. It's not a big deal, but we're not going to get the test. This was on like a Friday. We won't get the test results back until probably Wednesday. So, my daughter called me, and she had all of these ants going through her mind, and she was panicky, and she felt like she was a bad mom. My daughter is not a bad mom. Those ants were causing her to feel like a bad mom, but my daughter is actually, she's a really great mom. And one of the things we talked about was that those thoughts going through her head were not true. We did not know them to be factual. We did not know them to be true. And if she spent all of the time focusing on these ants and how they were making her feel, she was going to miss out on the weekend with her kids and the opportunity to be with her husband and her children. And that she was doing everything she could, and the doctor was doing everything she could, and they just kind of had to wait for the answer, which is a difficult place to be in. I totally understand. But that's how those two things are different. So the ants cause the feelings, but they're not the same as feelings. It's kind of a long-winded explanation. Does that help? I tend to like to give examples when I talk. Just because something makes sense in my head doesn't mean it makes sense as it comes out my mouth.
Some people tend to call them limiting beliefs. They tend to be. I'm
You
sorry.
guys, oh, this is absolutely important. I have got to take this. I will be right back.
Some people tend to call them limiting beliefs, and what they'll tend to be is a lot of times they can be from your childhood when you've had some people go through fear impact periods and things like that. That tends to be where you can pick them up. Narcissists in particular will tend to focus on those. Cults are really good at picking at those and giving you a feeling of inadequacy. Bad bosses will do it. But yeah, we tend to pick them up from early childhood, and it becomes more feeling based because as you deal with it more and more, it tends to go down into the lower brain stem, and that part of your brain doesn't really talk in English so much anymore. It's just feeling based, and you'll get this as a feeling like I'm not, or it can manifest in a feeling like I'm not good enough. Um, why do I even bother? Oh, I'm going to fail. This whatever drug or whatever. It's too powerful. I'm just an addict.
And society does a good job of making you feel that way too. If you've ever gotten in trouble or something, or well,
Sure.
you're just that goes along with Christina because if you're an addict, you're an addict, and so you're the lower. You weren't able to be strong enough in their eyes.
Yeah.
You weren't able to hide it as much in their eyes, if that makes sense. Because everybody's got their issues. It's just addicts are really, we're out there with it. We can't hide it. Like some people, it's one of those things that everybody hurts, but it's just,
and there's
more obvious.
There was one guy on, oh gosh, wish I could remember. A lot of it tends to come from trauma. It tends to be trauma based as well. There was somebody, gosh darn it, I wish I could remember his name. He was on Andrew Gold, and he's written a book. It was echoed by, and actually he got the idea from a bunch of neuroscientists. I wish I could remember his name. He actually goes through and says that a lot of trauma is biological, meaning that you have done something, not physically, but that you've done something's happened to your brain, and it's started forming connections, which then becomes physical because now you have all these neuron pathways. And there are different ways to treat it. A lot of times, some people, and this worked for me, but it may not. Some people tend to use. You can put limiting belief on a poster or a small piece of paper and put it in a way to where it's being celebrated. Like in my instance, I used, and it sounds like you're programming yourself, but it really doesn't work like that. Where I put, I'm not good enough. And I used a picture of one of these motivational posters of people celebrating. I stuck that on my wall in my office over the door because most people don't come into the door. I would see that every day, and you can start to, you see it more and more. You can say, that is just so stupid. And you get that emotional reaction to it, and then you can start to process. That works for some people, but may not necessarily everybody.
I can kind of see that because whenever my friends are talking and they're like, oh, I'm so stupid, or just, all these horrible things to themselves, I'm like, stop that. You're going to start bruising every time you say something like that to yourself. Your body's going to start internally bruising yourself. Stop. You don't deserve to be told that. You don't need to hear that. And then, like today, I got so upset with myself, and I'm like, oh, I just want to quit. We all do it, but it's so much easier to see it from somebody out of the end.
And a lot of the problem is that we, at some level, we still accept it. I mean, like, oh, that's not true, but are you really believing, are you really believing that's not true? And that is where, I mean, at a bare minimum, even just writing out your limiting beliefs, or ants, I guess would be the case, same terminology, or different terminology for the same thing. but a lot of times that, even just being aware of writing them out, it can give you a little bit of validation to where you're saying, I know this is an issue I have, and at least then you're aware of it.
That's
That's really
like
it's really
just
bugging me.
knowing.
I can't remember the name of that guy though. That is just
I didn't do
because
it. It hurts. It's like, oh, it's right there. I can hear it. I just can't get it.
because he wrote a book. I've been meaning to get it. I got Paul Ekman on my brain, but that's not it because he was more of in the body language. That he was in the micro expressions. Doggone it, it's bugging me. Oh well, I just gotta let it go. Just got to accept
Go
it.
get it. It'll come to you. Breathe. I'm so glad you're here. You're such.
But yeah, and a lot of times too. At least I tend to be really ADHD-ish at times. I do test positive for it, but that can also be a manifestation of trauma. So you may not necessarily be AD. I'm not a doctor.
Personally, I've dealt with so many issues throughout that now that I look back, I'm like, yeah, it's there. I see that. That makes sense. But I didn't struggle like I am now. It's like every single symptom that's coming up is all coming up at one time in the last few years.
Sure.
And so, and I think a lot of people are actually dealing with that because ever since, we had to be locked down for so long, I think it's done a number on all of our psyches.
Sure.
We don't know how to act anymore. We don't know how to interact. We don't know how to because we're going to more social media versus real life eye-to-eye contact. And, that alone is hard. It's trying to figure it out. And these poor kids that have never known anything but, boy, I feel horrible because they are not going to get the training that we got at all. And
sure.
It's just looking at somebody eye to eye and you're knowing what you are approaching. You know what the instances are that you're dealing with is so much easier to handle than it is trying to have to navigate around everything that we're dealing with. And so then mixed with trauma that's coming up, it's learning. It's time learning. I know that is hard.
Oh man, I'm looking for it. Mustard might be that might be right. It's just not clicking in my it's not clicking in my brain, but
it's gonna hurt until you get it.
yeah, it's just been so long. I'm trying to look for the article because I found a oh well. But yeah, there was stuff he went through where he found that there was treatment that you could get for it. And it turns out they use this treatment on people who have been through extreme trauma, where and he was basically saying you can get trauma two ways: by seeing your buddies die, that's kind of a blunt force trauma, and then there's also the trauma that most of us deal with, where it's slow, but it's repeated. And he said that the reason for, or that it served our ancestors well, because I guarantee you all of our ancestors lived long enough to procreate. You don't have any you don't have any bloodline relatives that didn't procreate. So it worked for them. But when we have panthers and things like that to worry about,
right?
That you would get that sudden fight or flight response. But in today's world, we get exposed to it and it doesn't go away because in the forest and things like that, where our ancestors had this natural release, this happened, they would have sudden trauma, and then we're okay now, and they'd have the forest and they'd get to see animals and things like that and slowly come down. In today's society, we don't have that, where you have a little bit of trauma, and then it's just nothing, and you get a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. You're constantly feeding it.
Well, I think I put that a lot on like my smoking cigarettes. In between a cigarette, I feel like I'm panic attack the whole time. So it's once I smoke a cigarette, then I can take a moment and I can actually relax. Even though it's a stimulant, still I can relax. And I'm like, okay, gather my thoughts. This is where I'm at. Okay. And I feel better. But that is not healthy for one. It's horrible. But that is a good way to bring myself down. And we've got to find ways to bring ourselves down since society is not letting us do it anymore. It's like you were saying, you have a predator that is attacking you. That is horrible. It's scary. You fear, your 4 F's that you have to go with. And then once that's done, you have time to just, the birds and the leaves and the air.
Yeah.
But now we have mainstream media. We have all these different things coming at us. All these flags that are coming at us that everything is thrown at us. Even if it's not real, it's still there. And so it's compacting. And then you add on everything with daily life. Our bodies were used to fighting predators or running away from them. Now we're having to decipher who the predators are.
Yes, yes.
People that are very important in our lives become the predators sometimes, and that's even worse. How can you handle that? So it's constant. It's just constant. I don't know how anybody can be not touched in some way with all this.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, and everybody, and that's one of the things about limiting beliefs or ants. Everybody has them to some extent. It's just learning to deal with it. I keep telling myself I'm going to let go and just accept it. And no, I'm sitting here looking through the articles on ABR that I posted, and I used to be a member on one of the behavior panels websites. I used to be staff, but well.
Rabbit holes, I get stuck on them.
He was more of a neuroscientist. Let's see here. Healthy tears are a good example, Stash. Yes. Jamie wrote The Invisible Machine. Yes. Bless you. I was looking and looking, and yes, and I think it's. I can't read it without my reading glasses. His text is so small. But you are absolutely right. He did appear in Andrew Gold and Aaron Smith-Levitt. Yes. Yes, that The Invisible Machine. That is the book. And I think I had it on order. I need to double check. But yes, that was one I was wanting to dig into. Fascinating interview. And I was. I'm sorry?
It's Invisible Machine?
Yes, Invisible Machine. He was a guy, and he found out that basically it was something that that he was aware of, that spec ops and things like that, they were being given this technique, but it wasn't available to just general public to get rid of the trauma. And that was what his discovery was that he, and it turns out it's one of these things where all these neuroscientists knew it, but most of us that's great for academia and things like that, but most of us don't have access to that. So he was basically thank you so much. That was awesome. That was bugging the snot out of me. I was looking through all my prior posts, and I was digging into some stuff on the differences in the brain between men and women, and all this other stuff, people with autism versus not, and I kept finding everything but that.
You did a good job, Lucky Million.
Yeah.
Do I hear Stacia's in the house?
I'm sorry?
Oh, I think I saw where somebody said Stacia was in the house. Maybe. It's really hard, y'all, to see these comments on the back end. It's so much different format.
Yeah.
So if we're not, and we can't pull them up.
Yeah, that was.
And so it's not that we're not looking or ignoring
one with cats also. Yes, she was yelling it at me when I had another page up. Yes. Yeah.
But that's a good example, Ben. That's a great example right there. We have so many people that have so much different knowledge that we can come together, and we spend all this time on our like me personally, I spend all this time scrolling on my research and looking things up and da-da-da, when all I would have to do is just look up and somebody's got it for me. And so if we can learn to share our knowledge, man, that's crucial. I love it.
And that's the thing, though, is that my stuff tends to be more, all my knowledge tends to be more in body language and trauma, just because that's what I research. Christy is just so.
Awesome.
She is really something. I really do get a kick out of her.
She is awesome.
We
just got a really awesome group of
people. Well, I don't know.
You're included in that, even if you do have questionable names sometimes. I saw that, oh Lord.
Oh yes, I pretty much had to. Yeah, because I had to use. We used that once, and then YouTube says, "No, you can't change your name again within so many days." So I was like, "Oh."
Right.
Because I changed it quite a few times, and one of Johnny's or Tommy's 24-hour chats, I turned myself into Xenu, your homeboy, and I guess that counted against it. It's like I didn't know you could only change your name so many times, and I guess you can.
Time.
Yeah, well, you can only change it so many times in so many days, and yeah, it was something I was playing with.
It's beyond me because there's so many trolls. Like you'll have one person that you know is the same person, and they will come in and they will just change all these different names, and it's like, really? I have trouble with my one.
And if Tommy and Johnny tell you that the tube of terror is not hot,
oh, are you gonna do it right here for us? Come on.
Oh, there she is. Okay, yeah, because Carol is yeah, because I can't bring anybody in. So
no,
Carol needs to log on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Tommy suggested. I was talking to Johnny as well.
Hi Ben, hi Misha.
Hey, I was trying to get used to heat because of the positive effects of it. And one of the things that they suggest is just getting a tube of terror and not doing the whole thing like Johnny does, but just one nut a day. Yeah, I've noticed it's been helping quite a bit.
Really? Well, that's what I'm trying to do, Stacia, is I want you to help me get him to show us the effects of it. I would like to see that. I'm very curious. The curious minds needs to know.
Oh, which plant would come back? She popped in, then she disappeared. And like, okay.
No, I'm still here. Sorry, just have my camera off because I'm about to walk through the house, and I'm not allowed to have the camera on when I'm going through the house. But I dearly need nicotine right now. So, yeah, I got a little bit overwhelmed, and I was planning on popping in sooner, but the shelter had a tremendous amount of gifts for Rowan and I. So I got a little bit overwhelmed, and we unwrapped the presents, and it was wonderful. Just I'm not used to it.
That is so.
That's the biggest thing.
Lord, have you? I'm sorry, our Lord. Have you actually done a whole tube yet, or I have to know? I'm just like I said. I'm just doing one peanut a day.
One peanut.
I just have to know if Kiss has been able to do the challenge.
Heck no.
Nope.
It was so funny when I had the first one. I was like, okay, yeah, I start chewing on it, like, this is nothing. What are people worried about? Give it about 5 seconds, and oh yeah, and I still like the guy that I think it was Johnny was talking about, where the porch pirate had stolen like an entire box of them, and the next day there was like the box was open, somebody returned it, and it was like one tube with one nut missing, and they brought it back.
That's awesome. That's one way to get your packages back.
Well, yeah, Christy's supposed to come back. We lost Plant.
Yeah.
Oh.
what the world, Stacia.
She probably went into a
Yeah.
no signal zone. Well,
It stinks not having power. I wish I could figure out what the heck I was doing.
I wasn't
What is
ready.
it?
I wasn't ready to come on. There's plant freak. Okay. Wow, 2 peanuts at a time. Wow. Okay, yeah, I've
What
been
are those
able
things?
just to do
The,
one. But yeah, now I'm at the point where at first it was like one, like, oh, just about kill me. Now it's like, I mean, I was sticking ice on my tongue and everything else, and now it's like, oh, now I can do it and drink a soda at the same time. So I'm getting a little bit further on it.
building that tolerance up. There was these
Yeah.
peas that we had one time, and they were so stinking hot. And I don't like peas anyways, but these suckers were like wowzas. You got to know what I'm talking about, y'all. Y'all like the hot stuff.
Yep.
They're, you know what I'm talking about? They're the
Yes, I
green
do.
peas. What are they called?
It's well, the wasabi pea ones. Are you talking about?
Wasabi. That's it. Wasabi.
Mm.
Yes. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
lo! I didn't know what they were. Somebody just told me to try them. Thanks. And yeah, I was on fire. I turned like into a cartoon, just like that.
I had
Woo!
somebody bring back wasabi covered almonds from the States a few years ago from Costco. And oh my God, I ate them like they were chips. Like, I just kept popping them in my mouth. Like, keep going, keep going. Where's the little bit of wash down?
Good Lord.
I love spice though. It's my nationality is mainly Guyanese, so it's a lot of spicy food. You're brought up with Korean for lunch, breakfast, and dinner.
See, I like hot stuff, but I thought I was like boss with my hot stuff until I found you guys. Yeah, y'all are a whole new level. Hey, Anik, the link that is in the chat as we speak is still it's the same link to grab. And so, if anybody wants to come on, we just have to wait because it's we don't have the way to click you in, talk you in. But Carol she's listening, bless her heart, and so
Yes.
it's not too long, I don't think, to get in here.
I switched to my cell data so that I'm not going to disconnect again when I have the internet connection do a wonky thing.
We were like, she was here, then she wasn't.
Yeah, I walked outside. But it's a secure building, so certain things like the internet does not work if I'm outside of the building. And I did not think about that when I was like, I'm going outside when I do this.
You were just thinking about the old friend Nick.
Yep. And just for now, it's a crutch. It's a 2024 goal, but it's alcohol, hard drugs, and pot gone in like 2 months.
You've done amazing. You have done incredible.
Thank you. Earlier today, I was struggling when I got Rowan back and the fever started. I was struggling. I was like, no, that joint is sitting in that drawer, and I'm like, no, I want to frame that thing. No.
Right? You're doing great because look at you could have, and nobody would have even known except for yourself.
Exactly.
And so the fact that you withstood, that's very honorable. I know when everything happened almost last year, y'all, it's going to get noisy for just a second, but I had some stashed, and that's one of the first things I thought about was, but it's still there.
Yeah, exactly.
I noticed Pup Groomer was talking about how his or her, I don't know. I'm just going to assume. Well, actually, I'll keep this neutral, but that their mother called them today, and apparently, they have the kind of relationship with their mothers. I do mine, so yes, I do feel for you in that situation, and that tends to work out that way when you're doing so well. You would get a little call like that. Okay. Holidays to call. I hate holidays because of her, and she knows it, and she calls. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That's what I was wanting to talk about today myself. Is I had the issue with the girls in holidays and stuff, and I was feeling really, really. about it. And so that's a valid thing. It's families and holidays. You have all these expectations and all these responsibilities and all these that you to yourself, or is it to everybody else? You know, my kids were really, really mad at me because I could have been with them right now, and I really wanted to be with them. You just don't even understand how much I want to be with them. But a lot of other stuff comes into play, and I did not feel like I just I don't this year want to put on my mask and act like everything's okay, and then everybody look at me wondering, is she going to explode? Is she going to do it? Is she going to do it? You know, it's almost like you're a freak show. And I just didn't feel like doing that. And whenever I wanted to be like, you know, I only get like once a year to see you guys. And I don't want to share y'all. I don't want to share you guys with. I understand and I'm grateful that you have these places to go. I'm so grateful for that. But I don't want to act like I'm okay when I'm not. I shouldn't have to. And I didn't teach you guys to stand up for yourselves. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stand up right here, right now. And it hurts. It's killing me. But I'm not going to be bullied into doing something that I feel completely uncomfortable with. I want to have time with you guys where we can just be us and not have to run here and run there and drive and talk. I've already got the agoraphobia issue, so I don't even know how easily I can get out of the house these days. And so it's just a lot. There's so much on us. And we're going to say things that we don't mean, and we're going to fight, and that's not what I want.
Don't want that. No. No, I understand that. It's like when my dad called right before the holidays, he sent money for the kids, and he immediately started going down, well, what do you think it felt like for me watching you in that situation, the situation I just left? What do you think it's like in the military? It's a old boys club, you know? And I'm like, Dad, I lived it. Dad, what do you think it felt like for me? And finally I was like, I can't do this right now. I really can't. I'm sorry. And I'm happy to talk about something else. But he was unable to and hung up. It was an eye-opener, definitely an eye-opener, but it's also a hard pill to swallow. He's my last living relative.
Has he not got a hold of you since?
He messaged to say Merry Christmas today and send a whole bunch of those like avatar emoji things.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I opened up to be like, oh, you know, Rowan's got a bit of a fever and, you know, I was feeling this way. He's like, oh, yeah, okay. Well, that's all right. And I'll talk to you later. I was like, okay. So you want me to be able to listen to you, but you can't listen to me.
Right.
And that's where I obviously learned on how to let people treat me.
Well, I'm kind of wondering, Pop, how was your mother with you today on this call? Was it just a hammer on you? You know, because a lot of covert narcissists will act that way, where they need to feel superior to somebody. So yeah, they'll occasionally, yeah, exactly like what Chameleon. At least I think it says Chameleon. It's hard to tell without my reading glasses.
La Chameleon way. Yep. Sorry, that was a little bit of French in there. My bad. It's happening sometimes now. It's happening sometimes now. But I just checked Wee Man, and he's less of a fever, which is good. But that freaked me out a little bit when he came back. He's finally asleep.
Here we go. She cons my brother into giving her info. Oh my gosh. My kids don't want to deal with her either.
Okay. Oh no.
Call was supposedly a talk to the kids. I said hello. The second I heard her voice, I hung up. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that sounds more like a you know, I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but that sounds like somebody who at a minimum, you're talking to somebody who's probably fairly toxic at a minimum. The kind of triangulation tends to be Yeah, I recognize that from my mother. Yeah. Uh,
That
my
is hard.
mom.
I'm sorry.
I wish we could just pop up comments. It'd be.
I know we're a little bit hindered, but
Yeah.
it's just
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Martha Simmons. Yeah, pup. My mom was an unhealed child, an abused spouse. Yes, I grew up in a cult, married 4 alcoholics. I ended up caring for her with advanced dementia in her last 6 years. On reflection, she was a broken woman. That is one way. That is what the way I had to start dealing with my mother, just realizing she'd been through stuff too. And it kind of helps sometimes, it kind of doesn't at others, but just try to remember that, this is the way she deals with people, and I know it's not just me. She does the triangulation, and that's the reason I know that she does the triangulation with people other than me. Is I've seen her. She'll call up or used to when I was in the house. She'd call up one friend and talk, and then she'd call up another friend, and she'd be fragging one person with the other. So that tends to be pretty Hello, good morning. Good morning. Oh my
it
gosh.
is good morning.
Cosmic
It
Christine.
is morning there.
No,
Yeah,
because we're not used to our normal time, so it would be like afternoon for you, Christy.
Yeah.
She's all the way on the opposite side of our world.
She's in Australia.
Yes, love her.
you can
So
come on, pup. You can come on and just not turn the cam on. That's
yeah, I mean, like I
can
do. I just put on pictures, but you don't even have to do that. It gives you the option. Whenever you click the link, it pulls it up, and it gives you the option of your audio, your video, and then your settings. And you can change. You can choose an avatar. You can do whatever you want, and that's the good thing about this too. Is you can be completely comfortable as you feel.
Yeah, I mean, you can. A lot of cameras they have a little what do you call it, shutter. But yeah, when you come on and you pop on, there's a little button down here before you can get in, or you can leave your camera off.
Put's got her own channel. It's an awesome one. You guys need to go over and sub it. Are there any wrenches in here? I will do it. I can go in and get it. She's got a really informative channel. She's all about the furlough. So I'm going to go in. I'm going to get your link real quick.
I tried switching the headphones and then the battery died, of course.
Yeah, only when you need it. Yeah.
He's asleep now, so.
I don't know what happened to Christy.
Was she supposed to come back?
Well, I think she got a phone call she couldn't avoid, and so she's probably still on the phone.
And I don't know much other than what she's told us is like there's something going on. Just love and prayers. Send them her way. There's a lot going on that's gonna affect her family. So I'm. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna. Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just reading Pup Groomer's last comment. She played my brother and me against each other our entire lives. Yeah. To the point that he completely hated me. Sure. I mean, that sounds like classic triangulation.
Wow.
I wish I could say that was rare. And I know that doesn't help to say that. Yeah, that is rough to deal with.
It may not help to say it, but it's kind of nice to know at the same time that you're not alone. That it is happening to other people, that other people have experienced it. At least in my experience.
Oh, she's trying to be quiet so Hubby can sleep. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I posted your link too, by the way. You guys ought to get over there and sub and check her out because she's got some good, great content.
I'm gonna have to because I get my pupper back whenever I can house him, and he's not a small pupper, and he's a great big Bernedoodle, and he's taller than me, so.
You can ride him. Rowan's like, I'm I'm gonna go for a ride.
Exactly. And Rowan's like, he's getting super fluffy, Mom. I'm like, oh dear, he needs a cut. Oh
I
dear.
love them. I love them so much. I would just hug them and squeeze them and love them all day. Even if they aren't 100-pound bulldogs like mine. Brutus lays just like we do in bed. It's like head on the pillow, and if it's not on the pillow, he gets upset. Like, what are you doing? Why do I not have a pillow underneath me? And he is literally, his head to his feet is just about the same as mine. I mean, he is that long and that big, and it's so funny. You know, we'll all do like the Three Stooges with Arrow. Also, he'll get the prick. So, but it's like the Three Stooges. When one of us rolls over and turns, we all roll over and turn. It's
That's
so
adorable. It's adorable, though. Oh my god.
Oh, something
Oh, I shouldn't have
else.
drank pop. Now I'm all burpy. I'm like, it's Christmas. I'm gonna like just let myself, you know? I'm just gonna have all those pleasures.
That's a good point, La Chameleon. That is a really good point.
So I imagine this manipulation gives her a feeling of power over others when she is a very insecure person. It's bad that she has hurt others to feel better about herself. Look after you. 100%.
That is a
And
lot of what those people wind up doing is they don't feel any value unless they're degrading. They get their value by degrading others below them. They tend to call those people zero sum thinkers. I've heard that term attached to them.
okay. It sounds like just what was described there is very much my ex. And it's a lot to untangle. I can't imagine it being a parent. You know? I guess I can imagine it being a parent because I learned from my father and I'm still in a little bit of denial on swallowing that pill, you know? But it's a lot to untangle. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. I think.
Well, in unpopular opinion, I'm going to play devil's advocate here because sometimes I really feel like I am the monster that's underneath the bed that I told my kids about. You know, looking back on the things that I've done and the way that I've handled things, I really wish that I wouldn't have done them. And so I think some of is not necessarily, maybe not everybody anyways, is necessarily trying to come out of a place of being mean or anger. They just might not know, or they don't know how to. And so I try to caution myself with that because then I get in too much of letting people in and giving them too much rope. And then there they go on getting you, you know. But at the same time, I know for a fact that everything that I've done, maybe 90% of it anyways, 10% I pretty much knew that I was just being stupid. But I mean, I make a lot of mistakes, but I do them out of just me sometimes just caring too much or whatever reason. But they turn out and they are misconstrued and they don't turn out like I want, and then it looks like I'm just being horrible. And so sometimes if you can kind of kindle one with the other and just say what is causing that person to do that, and is there anything that I can see to maybe help this along, because it hurts, a place of pain, and I understand that because my mom was really too. But that's how I handle with her. Because I can't talk to her anymore, but I can handle in my mind because I'm like, Mom, you're just horrible. And then I'm like, but what if? You know, and that's the only way that I can kind of look back on it and have any grace with it. Because there had to have been stuff there too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
and I'm trying to understand that too.
I think it makes me feel better if I can leave that place instead of just anger and pain. Because parents, most of us, I can't see coming to a place like that. And I know that they do. I do, because we're all humans and we all have our own ways of doing it. I don't like to think that. You know, wrong opinion, I know.
No, but at the same time, I feel like you're a completely different situation than some parents, you know. For example, I would love to apply that mindset to my father, but what stops me is he put me in foster care, told me that we would go to court and discuss if I would be crown ward, which in Canada means I belong to the government, or if I stay his child and I'm on a contract with child services, but he gave me up Crown Ward first court appearance. So I would love to apply that, but then I also just see the selfishness in every step since then. You know, I try my best to think positively, and I always reach out to him when I start thinking of him, but then I regret it every single time. And it's not like what I'm going to call like a Misha love, you know what I mean? I know what that is. I know that it always comes from a good place. I do not believe it's always a good place with him, just because of the history. Looking back at the last 25 years, there's too many things that shows me selfishness.
Yeah, that appears to be the same situation with Pop.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's always to try to distance yourself from. I mean, it's not easy. Yeah, because we have a tendency to always give, even if we detest our parents, we will always give them a little bit of validation in our pea brains. We'll always, yeah, that's really lovely. Yeah, I'm sorry you're dealing with that, Pop. That is
so much.
That it is much worse than my mother. I was able just to deal with her just by establishing a boundary, and when she would she was trying to use she'd get my father all worked up and whatever the crisis du jour is. She'd get him all riled up and sick him on me, and he'd call me and like, "Oh my God, I don't want this to happen." And it's like I know where that's coming from. And I just established with her that when you start to do this, I'm just going to hang up, and that's what it took. But that is so much more cordial than this relationship here. This sounds just out and out. This sounds like an ex or something like that. It's just in this case, it's a parent.
Well, yeah, I'm reading, and I'm sorry. It's gotten me in a lot of trouble thinking like that, and so it's really, I wasn't trying to say advice. Like, it's just, I don't understand how people can be that cruel, even though I've been treated that way by people who are that cruel, and so it's just hard for me to realize.
Yeah.
So I guess I apologize because that wasn't really the right thing. It's just so amazing how people can be so.
But Misha, I'm very much like you. I think, how can people be like this? To the point that now I'm turning 37 very shortly after the new year, and it's the first time in my life that I'm recognizing any of these symptoms. So I very much think like you. So no, you don't need to apologize. It is coming from you and within, and I appreciate that 100%. Sadly,
though, I'm so sorry. I didn't see that.
Yeah. And then Pup says here, my father was in and out of my life. I think because he couldn't deal with her and couldn't verbalize that. Hey, that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, that would be validation if nothing else. And from dealing with your brother, the early relationship that you had talked about, and now this, you're not the problem, or that it's not on you. This is the way she is, and that doesn't help in dealing with it. I wish it did. Well, maybe it helps a little bit, but yeah, I mean, that's always just something to keep in mind. Why is she doing this? I think Chameleon was on to it when she was talking about just wants to feel powerful.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think that's what part of my point was that it's not you that they're acting like that about. It's not, don't put that on yourself, because, as kids, we don't start out saying, we're going to make you tortured, Mom. We're not going to we don't do that. And so somebody to be upset and angry at a child before they can even have a chance to do anything, that is on them. It's not, it's something that has happened in their life. that has made them, or for some reason they are that way. It's not us. It's not you. And so that's, I think, thanks for saying that, because it made me remember, because my brain. I'm gonna go check on him real quick, y'all. I love you.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point, Bob. Martha. Increasing age can bring on an element of sometimes a little bit of age makes clean breaks a little bit easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be that her mother wants connection with her children, but obviously still is the way she is. So,
Not willing to see it and not
yeah,
willing to try and work on it.
yeah. That's an odd way to establish a relationship with somebody's kids. So
Even if they're your grandkids, it is strange.
yeah, that. Oh, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's stuff like this. A lot of times you dig in. I'm not saying this about anybody, but it was one of the things I realized with dealing with when I checked myself into for recovery. I was put in with a lot of addicts, and it was when I started seeing that we had the same issues. We went about it differently. I was more self-destructive. Addicts were self-destructive in a way that they turned to chemicals with the same thing, but it's the same root cause, and that wow.
Wow.
She's my oldest daughter's number, and I think she had no reason to call me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet that. Wow. Do you talk to your No.
Did I see earlier that she had blocked her number now from her phone? I think. I'm trying to scroll down.
Hmm. Yeah, I should stop scrolling because
It's making my eyes dizzy.
well, that and I tend to. Earlier, I was talking about some. Oh, gosh, I already forgot this person's name. The Invisible Machine, or yeah, but yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay.
So Kiss, Lord, our Lord and Savior says that.
I did say she bought her.
Yeah.
Okay. That's I have such a hard time with that. I guess because I'm watching my daughter who's 13. One of her friends just ceased communicating with her a couple months before Christmas, and then today messages her and goes, "Look what I got in my stocking. It's an Apple iWatch." And I'm like, "Oh my word. Really?" So she was struggling through that a bit. I was like, "Oh, I just don't get this aspect." Okay, blocked her on my phone. Okay. Tenant. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's fair to give them the choice, of course. And I'm sure that you will. Just keep the eye out. Make sure that she's not continuing doing this behavior with them, because it's not gonna create any healthy relationships for anyone, and it's just gonna create some backlash. I'm sure you don't really want to manage. Or I'm not like, I know for me right now, it's backlash that if it happened in my life, I couldn't manage it right now. I couldn't.
Yeah,
Like, that is why all of my ex's family is blocked on Facebook. All of them. The only person I have unblocked on text is his mother, because his mother just dropped off and picked up our son for us for the Christmas visit. But that is my only reason for having the woman unblocked. Everybody else is completely blocked. I want no questions. I can't deal with it. But I went to the extreme with that. I know I did.
And all I
Thank you.
did.
Thank you for posting that again, Lucky Million. This time I actually typed it, so I don't have to search for it on ABR. The other site I was trying to find it, because evidently I didn't order it. It's probably still, it might still be in my outbox on Amazon, but
I put it in the backroom messages too in the chat, so that way.
Wow.
Got it.
I do. My kids are very outspoken. That's good, and they will hang up on her if she starts her crap. My youngest already has, and hasn't spoken to her since. It's been over a year since then.
Good.
A
Wow.
lot of times too, Christmas. I think it's when people tend to realize. Some people realize all the mistakes they made, and they would tend to idealize having a family and things like that. That could be for the
Well, yeah, I mean,
timing.
everybody on social media's got their pictures of their happy families, and so they want to be able to do that too.
Yeah.
But it's so not what the social media is not. Just, I get to have you for pictures and look good. Let's all look perfect and act like the world's good.
Very good point, Lord. Very good point.
Yeah, I do. I owe them nothing. And thank you, the chameleon, as well. You know, I do. It's things that I'm not used to. I'm not used to not people pleasing, and I'm not used to taking care of me. And this is the first time that I'm doing it in my life.
Yeah, that's
And,
ultimately what you need. That's.
I mean, you really are. You're doing a good thing. I love you, Ben. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The lag.
And that's where a lot of the addictive behavior, things like that. We do tend to put more value on other people and take care of ourselves last. And look, how has that worked out? As
right.
Mr. Phil would say, Dr. Phil, whatever. Mr. Phil.
Mr. Phil, he's no longer a doctor.
Yeah.
Well, that's like me
I've
cleaning
had a
house. I
love-hate
always
relationship with him.
I know I do too. I always would clean. All the house would be everything except for my little table. That would be the last thing that would ever get done, and that was always the messy one. That was always the drove me nuts because why can't I just get my table? It looks like I'm so messy, but it's because that was mine. That was what was special to me. My friends, my family. I a lot of times would put other people and other things in place instead of taking care of like being there for the ones that I really, really needed to be because I wanted to be for so much. And so, like what Christy was talking about earlier, why do we yell and treat the ones that we love the most? Why do we do that? Because we know they love us and that they're going to love us no matter what. So then we do that. That's not right. It's not fair.
No.
But it's so easy for people to do. And so sometimes I can excuse that. You know, it's like, okay, I got you. I will be here. But I don't need to take that.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
kind of thing. So in what I'm doing right now, it's going to look horrible, and it's going to be taken horrible, and it's going to feel horrible. It does feel horrible. But my girls need to know how to do it too. And in what you're doing, Rowan's going to see you standing up for yourself. Baby girl's going to see you standing up for yourself. They're going to see strong mom, and this is how I take care of you. Versus how my kids saw me getting abused and beaten up and mistreated, and now it's not the same. Thank God, but it is still. I see those tendencies in them. I see that you know my oldest is so very much a carbon copy of what I was, and I see how frustrated and how overwhelmed she's getting, and I'm like, you turn out like me. You've got to do something now. You've got to learn to put these in place.
Yeah. Yeah. And something that society doesn't teach us is that boundaries are okay and boundaries are necessary.
No, I feel so guilty for boundaries, and I always have. Have. You know, and the Ella Enchanted. Have y'all seen that movie?
Yes, Ella Enchanted, yes. With Anne Hathaway?
Yeah, that is me. I have my
Yes.
entire life never felt like it was good enough. And nobody ever told me whenever I was, okay, that is a good enough job. You can stop and go on.
Yeah.
so everything I do has to be over and above. And now it's like nothing can be even more. I've
Yeah.
gotten so broken that I can't even do the little stuff.
And part of that is neurodivergency and hyperfocus too, right? So
Yeah.
try and give yourself some grace for that, because that's not something that you're going to be able to change, and it's not something that masking is doing anything good for
No,
anybody who's neurodivergent, right?
that doesn't
But
mask
figuring out
mine.
the coping skill.
Yeah, and that's, you're helping me with that. Ben's helping. Christy's, this place is magic.
Yes,
Thank God for you guys.
agreed.
Because for real, I mean, at the point when this video first started, and I was panicked because the way everything had worked out, I wasn't able to do what needed to be done. And I'm just like, you know what? I've tried, and I tried last night. I've tried, and I've been trying. And I was like, forget it. I just give up. And I'm not a person that gives up. I'm not. I'm a person that doesn't mind looking silly. I don't care. I'll throw that out there because, you're going to think of me what you think of me. That's okay. I know who I am. Even though life isn't showing that, I know who I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it's just something that I have to learn to deal with, because once upon a time, before or after, or during, or, my drug choice made me Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so my kids got to see me be Wonder Woman on and off. And I really, whether I was on it or not, I've done some amazing things. I'm not that person anymore. And so trying to find the in between. It's really hard, and especially whenever you just get down to the bottom up.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully I can show what it's like down at the bottom and how to come back up. Only with y'all's help. Because it sucks.
But you are doing good work, It is a lot you are processing. It is a lot you are grieving. And that you have to give yourself some grace and forgiveness for. Because I know you. Because we're too much alike. I think we're all very similar. It might be an addict thing. I don't know.
Well, that's why we can look each other in the eyes and know so much without even words spoken. You can look at somebody, and if they've been there, you can just, there's just that thing.
Yeah.
And you don't become a drug addict because you want to be a dope. It's like you become a drug addict or an alcoholic or a gambler or a food addiction, or we become all these different things to compensate for whatever it is that we're dealing with. And
Exactly.
just some people realizing that really is just insane.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we can learn to work towards that understanding, that realization, there's not a lot of things. A lot of things. I can't stand how I talk anymore. It really scares me because, I used to make sense when I talk.
I understand. Your brain is trying to focus and it's trying to function. There's just so much. So
But I
much.
don't want to use what I'm going through as an excuse. It doesn't make it okay to do that. It doesn't make it okay for me. I don't want it to be that. Is what, you're going through that. I need to be able to go through this, yes. But I don't want that to be an excuse on why I can't do that. I don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah. I can understand that. Mm-hmm. But like we just said about me too, part of this is taking care of you. Part of this is healing you. And part of that situation, healing you, is that you have an incredible amount going on. And I know that that is so very hard to wrap your own head around when it's yourself. Because I still struggle sometimes with it. But it's the truth. And we are here to support you. We are here to listen. We are here to help as best as we can.
And that's what's so cool. There's another speaking of beautiful.
So be forgiving on yourself too. please. Because just like you told me, like, what, 2 months ago, you need to take care of you, or else it's just not going to work and it's just not going to function properly.
Isn't it crazy how we can give up such great advice?
I know, and then we give it right back to one another.
Right. It's like, go look at yourself in the mirror and say that. I've stopped the last few weeks, and that's probably part of what's wrong with me. I was high-fiving myself in the mirror. Mel Robbins taught me that. And when you do that motion of your hand, like take your hand and just give yourself 5. If you do that to other people, that action, that right there, you're saying you're doing a good job. And when you get that back, they're saying to you, you're doing a good job. Do it to yourself. Whenever you're looking in the mirror, you're like, oh, I got all these wrinkles, I got all these bags, I've got enough bags to travel around the world. Instead of doing that, say you're doing it. You're doing the dang thing.
Yes.
And I was doing a lot better with it. I think I just knew that this was coming, and so I kind of stopped, maybe self-sabotaging a little bit. I don't know, but yeah, that self-reaffirming, and that's weird too, because I really do think that there's the disconnect on realizing who I was and who I am right now. It just sucks because I can't give myself that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I have to work on. So you're right.
Nope. And again, we're here to help. We're here to assist as best as we can. We might not be able to do some of the things a professional is able to do, but we can at least give advice.
And sometimes we don't need
I also-
advice so much. We just need somebody to listen. We just need somebody
Exactly.
to say, hey, I also think that
you're allowed to give yourself a little bit of time around certain dates to grieve. You're allowed to take some time out to grieve, and because pretty major things happen, and as long as you don't carry that through the rest of the year, and because I did it for 2 years. I just didn't get out of bed, and I think that's okay too. I love hard, and so I grieve hard, and I think that's fine. So that's all I wanted to say about that. And I just think that's okay. And if some people don't, they shove it away and they deal with it later. I don't. I deal with it, and it's just and other people don't like that because they can't handle strong emotion, and I can't either. And people can't handle my strong emotion, and those who can, they're the ones who've stuck around.
Yeah.
They're like, oh well, Christy's crying at the table again.
Yeah. And
they just hand me a box of tissues, and I sit there silently, or sometimes not. So, and at that time, I wasn't even really drinking. I was just sitting there crying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's only, and it's just Misha, you're allowed to cry. You're allowed to sit there and grieve and go out and scream into a dark void or something. Grieve, cry, scream. You're allowed to be. They say wallow, and then take yourself out of it, and then and also you're allowed to focus on yourself and your daughters, because you can't give everything of yourself to everybody else and not leave anything for yourself. Then you've got nothing left. Yeah, because that's what I've done, and look,
that picture right there.
That's what I've done, and
not to interrupt, but that picture right there, that's what it is, right there.
Yeah.
Feeling like that. There's no more Misha left.
That's exactly it. You've emptied your pot. You've given, and you've emptied your pot.
Well, that's actually, there's a study that I was reading the other day, and they were saying that cortisol, it's something that, especially if you live in constant carer mode, and like, especially if you're always in fear, like, especially if you're a carer, and and if you've been through abuse or trauma, there's can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
My sound's just gone weird. Yeah, my sound just went weird. There's a constant there's constant adrenaline and cortisol running through your body, and it does a whole bunch of damage to your heart, your kidneys, your brain, and just your body in general. Because I barely eat, all that sort of stuff, and all that, and it's stacking on the weight, and it's because I can't eat any nutrients I do get. My body's like, no, I'm not getting rid of these because I don't know when I'm getting any more. So and so now I've got this chronic fatigue because it's high stress, and my immune system's gone down, and it's just terrible for your body. And they're not looking into what abuse does to your brain and your body, and also, exactly, Anik, and Martha, there's so much abuse and trauma and all that sort of stuff does to your body, and they're not linking it so much. They just think it's all illness and immune systems, but it all follows on. It's like the circle of viciousness, a vicious circle. See, I'm dyslexic, so I get things backwards. But it's like a vicious circle. It's all linked. We need to take a holistic approach to stuff, and then then you take an addiction, which is also linked to all that sort of stuff. So we just got to look into it holistically, and we link it back to Tanisha and what, because I've been listening for a while, trying to find my headphones. It's always away. And just listening and just thinking, like, it's such a Tanisha's story is sadly very common, and you just think, and perhaps, you just think we're all these people who are linked, and we're same but different.
Yes.
We give so much, and people take so much, and then we can't give anymore. And then when we learn boundaries, they leave.
Yep. You're gone.
They get angry. Yeah.
Yep.
Or they get angry, and and no physically hurts. Once you learn to say no. And I've been doing it because I didn't answer my phone yesterday at all. It felt great. I did exactly what I wanted yesterday, and it was just make dinner for myself and my son. I thought the housemate was going to crash it, and eventually he has to look after 5 cats. It's so funny. But anyway, me and my son just had dinner. I had it in my little fort in my lounge, and he had it in his room. We just did exactly what we wanted for the first time in our lives on Christmas Day.
Perfect.
Yeah. So
now,
we said no.
Christy, have you seen the somatic exercises I had posted in the Need a Meeting Facebook group?
No, I have barely been on Facebook.
I can send them to you personally, or private message, sorry. But it has helped me a great deal in releasing some of the emotion and the cortisol, because from what I understand, it stays and sticks in the hips. And with these exercises, I'm not joking, I had to take a break because I bawl my face off every time I've been doing them. Every single time I've been doing them, I've been crying, but I feel better by the time I'm done.
Okay.
And I had to take a little bit of time off because it was just too much with Christmas. I couldn't add in the extra emotion and release with all of the in-person talk therapy I'm doing as well. It wasn't something I felt like I could do. But I give it every, 3-4 days. I try and do one, and it's helping so much just to be able to release. No. And if it's painful, you shouldn't push that hard.
Okay.
Honestly.
I'm in a lot of pain.
Yeah, no, it's not painful. And it's slight stretches of the hip joints and thighs and legs. That's it. And if you feel pain, don't push any further. Go to a point where it's safe and comfortable for you, because you don't want pain to be a factor at all in these. Over time, you're going to notice that your hips start releasing a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more.
Okay. I might do that after I go back to physio after the new year then.
Yeah. When you get all the other things sorted out too. But I think it might help. But I'm only saying it because maybe it's helping me. But I do think it's going to help a little bit.
Yeah.
I was excited.
I'll give it a go.
I think that's something
Yeah.
that we should. I put them off too. I waited because I don't want to go through this and start anything else until at least this is fixed. 2 days or at least 5. But I'm really excited about doing it, and I think we should just keep each other informed on how we're doing with it, like the body double thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can totally get that
Well,
too.
there's this I've been doing these. I try new different meditation music by by audio thing. It's like it plays in your ears, different thing, because they've been finding how different tones can affect your sleep and all that sort of stuff. I'm fully into the science of that sort of stuff. So there's one that is supposed to balance. I don't know. It says balance your chakras. I don't know about that, but it's supposed to go. It balances all your tones all the way down to your. I don't know. It's supposed to do a balancing thing. It goes for a while, but I'm never awake for much past 15 minutes, which is what I'm all about.
Right.
So
do it by osmosis.
I'm all about. Yeah, I just want to sleep, and it's really helpful. So, and it actually helps me sleep on my back because I can't sleep on my back normally, and because I wear my headphones, I can't sleep on my side with my headphones on because I'm on the couch still. It's really hot over here, and we're having these amazing storms. I couldn't hold my phone up last night because it was on the couch. Otherwise, I would have shown you. It was like sounded like a train. It was so awesome. So, but yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to pop up and say hello. I was like so excited to see you guys. I was like, oh my god, there's a meeting.
Yes. And Wee Man has been asking about you, by the way. How's she doing?
Yeah.
How's she doing? It was pretty adorable. He was even Christmas. He was at the 23rd. He was at his aunt's and uncle's farm, and he goes, "Did you talk to Minecraft Christy yet?" Like, oh my word, child.
I took some. I do have some storm videos from the other day, and a photo of me as Christmas tree from yesterday morning to send. So, but yeah,
Amazing.
I've just been so tired, and I was just like, I'm not doing anything yesterday. So, but I did watch the meeting. So, and then I fell asleep during the meeting.
So be it.
It's good that we can relax.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ben, you said it looks like you're trying to say something.
I know. I was going to say.
I was just going to say thank you for bringing up the cortisol exercises because I want to dig into those. Sorry, I had another one of. So that just about killed me. But yeah, the cortisol, because that was one of the things that happened with me. I was doing keto, having all kinds of good luck with it. I was exposed to black mold and weed killer. The black mold caused the release of a lot of cortisol. That's one of the things it does.
Yes.
And I've been treating it, and my black mold is doing much better now. But that was one of the things that you were talking about that I want to kind of dig into a little bit.
Ben, I'll send it to you directly too then. I'm pretty sure that you popped up on my, you know this person, or you should know this person,
He's not about answering friend requests, I'll tell you that much. Either that or he's just been avoiding me because you got one, Ben. Just saying. That's all I'm saying.
It sounds kind of similar to what they call facial work. Fascia. Yep. Okay, so you know what that is. Okay.
Yes. It's very similar. Very similar. I just find that with the fascia work, you're pushing yourself a little bit harder than you are with the somatic. The somatic, they state in every single video I've watched, if it hurts, don't do it that far. Pull back a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Because they do not want you in pain. Your body's been through enough pain. Your body's been through enough. You want to gradually get this flexibility, and you want to gradually get this to come back. Not force yourself.
Yeah. Well, and that was one of the mistakes I did with the facial work. I'm too used to working out. And I did exactly that with fascia, where I started having I started having gut issues because I was doing too much, too fast, and they said,
Yeah.
"Don't do, if it hurts, don't do it." Blah blah blah, and I'm just too used to no pain, no gain.
Right.
When I tried running earlier, I wound up giving myself plantar fasciitis. Then I tried doing what do you call it? Exercises where you're holding up weight,
Weightlifting.
tore tendons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a what was it that Bert Gummer said? I'm a something like I'm an example of self-destruction or something like that. I can't remember, but yeah.
Yeah. My
But
knees are a bit messed now because I had really gotten into bodybuilding. I would say 5 years before Rowan was born. And then we had done another posting and moved to Ontario. My uterus thawed and I got pregnant. So that stopped completely once I was pregnant. But I don't know how many injuries I gave myself. I was at the hospital and they're like, "What did you do?" And I'm like, "I tried powerlifting."
mm,
Hey
yeah,
guys,
I
I
love
hate to
that.
do this, but the ham, I can smell it. Like I'm fixing to have to. I've got to get off of here for a little bit. Are y'all gonna? What are y'all plans? Are y'all planning on? Are y'all gonna stay here for a little bit, or?
I got maybe another 15 minutes. I've got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. So I have to get some rest. And then it's for my mental health note for court. So I got to get some rest to not look like a crazy woman tomorrow, you know.
I'm
You
just
need to
happy
be
to see everyone and hear everybody's voices. I missed you. Missed you all.
Oh,
Missed you too. And Ben, it's
Yeah.
fun to see you on stream. It's the first time
I
I've
love it.
seen you
He's
on
so
stream.
great. He did amazing.
I
Well,
like
I'm
it.
like, yes.
yeah,
I
I
love
want
seeing all the computers.
I wanted to come on and poke at Christy a little bit, but um, she needs it. But
Yeah.
yes,
She needs a smile or something in there right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love Christy.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Thank
she's a good apple. She's a good kitten.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And then I'm not too
Yeah.
sure if you heard the thing yesterday. I was helping a friend through a crisis of her own, and I said, "There's Hobbit wisdom," and so there's not just
Hmm.
Hobbit rage. There's Hobbit wisdom now too.
Well, I told her, I said, I'm thinking merch now. I've got some ideas in my head that I'm going through, and I'm going to work up some different images. I'm like, we got
Yes.
Hobbit Rage, Hobbit Knowledge, Christyisms, and she, believe it or not, she's got somebody that we're in contact with that actually does the physical merch. And so she said if I
Perfect.
can get her the designs, just send them straight to her, and she's going to get some. So we've got that, and so I'm really excited about that.
Yes.
Yeah. She's so
Now we need
wise.
to find a company with a turkey leg for, like, a plush
For
one
real, that's
where
one
we
of
can
them.
hit
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
Yeah, I've
A
seen
branching
plush.
turkey leg.
I've seen plush ones for dogs, but they're too little. I need a big one.
Yeah, we need
Well,
like
that's
torso size.
for reals, because
I am
then
so thankful that Lock Million was in here to talk to
yeah.
Pup Groomer. That was
Yeah,
really cool. I
yeah.
made bacon wrapped chicken medallions cooked with
Oh my God. Caribbean
That
style
sounds.
habanero mango.
wow.
Ooh,
That sounds
that's
amazing. It's
I made
okay,
a.
Christy.
yeah.
That's all good. You do what you got to do.
Just sending you love,
I
sending you ones.
No, I didn't even know you were here. So see, even when you're not here, we talk love. So I made a lamb roast. It took me 2 days. So what is it? You air brine the lamb. It was a bit salty. But I've been watching all these cooking shows, and be like, I'll do what they do. I forgot to get all the extra salt off. I missed that
Yes.
step. So next time I'll rub that off. So
Give
I
it a
did
good little
that
wash.
the night before. Oh no, you don't wash the meat; you just rub it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so I did that, and I was going to do the veggies, but I cleaned the kitchen and cleaned the lounge and made it all nice for the presents for Mia. And then I was
Yep.
too exhausted because I was all planning to do the vegetables. So I got up the next day, did the vegetables, and it took me like 4 hours to do the vegetables. I didn't realize that you kind of need your right wrist to do vegetables. And I did
Yeah,
Hasselback potatoes. I know it's too hard to explain. You have to look them up, but they're really nice. They're like roast potatoes, but they take a lot shorter to cook. So I did them, parboiled them, got them all ready, and just waited until I knew when Jared and me were going to be here. Ended up they had to go because he's got to babysit 5 cats. He hates cats. This is karma. And not only that, he has to weigh all different, like he has to do it 3 times a day. He has to weigh all different measurements for all different 5 cats. And he's being watched. So like because he went to the beach like one morning, like he fed the cats and all that sort of stuff. And then he went like the night before, and then he went to the beach so he could watch the sunrise on Christmas morning. Normal thing, like free spirit, whatever. Like I thought, no problem, he's fine. He made sure the cat's food was out, ready in the morning. Like that's pretty responsible for Jared, right? Gotta say. So I was like, good job. I didn't know where the story was going. And then he's like, gets a call in the morning going, why aren't you home? He's like, how do you even know? He's like, and like his sister, like his baby mama's sister, oh my God. And like, she's like, why aren't you home? Has the cats been fed? He's like, yeah, how can you tell? And she's like, I've got cameras. And I'm like, oh, what have you been doing? Does it matter?
oh my goodness.
He's like,
it's a perfect situation for him. It's like you are going to be watched and you just didn't know it.
Yeah, I know. I was cackling. I was thinking it was so funny. And like a couple of days ago, he's like, do you miss my annoying? Do you miss me? My annoyingness? I'm like, not at all.
No. Wishful thinking, bud.
And he's like, okay. And then he comes back and he's like, oh, I've been listening to like breakup music and sad music. And I laughed at him. And he's like, what? And I'm like, well, you laughed at me when I, when Zach left, and I was listening to the same music I always listen to. And yeah, I thought it was really funny. But it's just like,
I have to
he's a good
go for just a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm
Sounds
ready.
good.
I just wanted to end the meeting with a good funny story.
Yeah.
I'm
And I've
so
got
glad
about
you're
5 more
on.
minutes
I
left here
love
myself. And I just wanted to make sure I say, just because I can't type in the chat, I just want to tell Pup Groomer, like, I am so happy that she's found a place that she can talk about this. Because keeping this stuff in is incredibly hard. Keeping this abuse or neglect in is incredibly hard. You need somewhere to be able to speak up.
Pup Groomer, are you on Facebook?
I think she's on Facebook. I can't recall on my top of my head right now, but I'm sure we'll find out. She said, I think I need a couple of days to process, but I'm super, super proud of myself that I didn't feed into her and hung up without saying a single word. I am so proud of you two. So proud of you two.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Ben's name changes, but there's a group called Daughters of Narcissistic Mothers. And they really, really help because it's a group full of people with narcissistic mothers, and they're very supportive. No one's allowed to be like, it's your fault. I'm on there. Yeah, and it's actually really helpful because it's like a whole bunch of people with a whole bunch of similar stories, and they share, and yeah, it's really, really helpful. It's Daughters. Hang on, there's a whole bunch posting on there right now because apparently they'll appear on
right on Christmas Day.
Yeah. So I'll just look it up now.
It's almost like they all got the memo on the same day. Hey, make those unsolicited phone calls that people don't want.
There's one called Daughters of Abusive Mothers and Daughters.
I'm sorry, but this is just the cutest. I know he's sick, but I've got tiny little snores happening right beside me. And it's just the cutest. The fever feels like it's almost gone, to be honest. Thank God.
Okay, maybe the okay, so the narcissistic mother group must be shut down for Christmas, but Daughters of Abusive Mothers is still there.
Okay.
Because some groups shut down for Christmas, but yeah, Daughters of Abusive Mothers is there for over Christmas. So
Okay.
yeah, it's actually really helpful.
Perfect. I am going to write that down just in case anybody reaches out for it. Oh,
Hang on.
My notebook.
There was just a post in my thing. Oh, there we go. I'll see if I can share the group to the. No, I can't share. It's a private group.
Okay.
No, hang on. That's a page.
You might be able to invite if it's a private group, but you would have to have Pup Groomer, I think, as a friend already. I don't know. I've made my Facebook super, super private. So all those things that I was able to do, I just can't do anymore.
Well, they change everything around so often.
Yes.
Especially iPhone.
Oh, that's what he wanted me to show you, Christy, and I may as well show you even though he's sleeping.
Oh my gosh. It's a wolf. It's a tame wolf.
Wolfie.
No, is it? That's an angry. Is that a tame wolf or an angry wolf? That's a tame wolf. It's got a collar.
Yeah. The tame wolf. So he's like, look, it's my pet.
Is it sad that a 44-year-old, nearly 44-year-old woman knows that?
No, not at all, because I know a lot about the Pokemon games. I know nothing about Minecraft. Nothing.
No. Well, does everyone feel like they've had a meeting? So,
how you doing, Ben?
Still recovering from the.
I love it.
It's getting there. It's getting there, but yeah, it's still painful.
Oh, yeah, and I don't think it'll start going down in pain just yet. Maybe 3 or 4 of those tubes, over a month or something. Then the tolerance starts.
Yeah, and I have noticed quite a bit of difference. And actually, I'm investigating it because it doesn't hurt with everything else that's messed up with me. I'm seeing what, my doctor sounded excited, and she likes putting me through great pain, so it might just be that. But I'm waiting to see if it will do anything. It doesn't, apparently it won't hurt. So,
no, it's the tube of terror, Christy. The spicy thing from Chase the Heat from Johnny's channel.
Oh God! I thought you were in hospital with a tube down your throat.
No, that's why I heard the concern. I was making sure I was dealing with that.
Okay. See, I'm literal. I was like, a tube?
She didn't hear the tube of terror part earlier.
No. Yes. Tommy. Johnny and Tommy. But I think Johnny's doing it all to get back at Tommy for that earlier abuse he was talking about.
Love
today.
you, Nate.
It sounds like Tommy did damage to Johnny earlier, and now it's all getting back. And I think it's a beautiful thing when Tommy's throwing up. No, it is funny to watch though. But
I've just learned to say, okay, is Tommy actually having an issue, or did he eat something spicy? I've learned now that because immediately I would go to, oh my God, what's wrong? And then somebody's like, oh, he just ate something spicy. I'm like, okay, I understand now.
Those boys aren't normal. They're really not. Their videos are really fun to watch, but yeah. I mean,
Did you see that grapefruit one?
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
That one's hilarious. Hilarious. I watched that one with my son like 4 times.
The century egg almost made me barf, but yeah.
All the ones. Yeah. My goodness. I'm really happy that we were able to do another stream tonight because I was dealing with the fever earlier. It's pretty much broken now, but as much as it was like a grateful overwhelm that I was feeling when I got on here, it was still an overwhelm, and I don't like overwhelm at all. So like, as soon as I feel overwhelmed, it's like, okay, we need to shut down something. What am I shutting down? And instead of doing that this time, I just came on here.
And I'm so glad we did. I'm so glad all y'all did.
Yeah, I'm so glad for the extra meeting. I accidentally came across it because I woke up at like 12 and then it took until 12:30. I was like, God damn it, missed the meeting. And I don't know what happened to my alarm. I thought it must have been Jaden's work alarm maybe. I woke up and was like, it's Boxing Day. It doesn't work today. And then I woke up at 12:30. I was like, oh no, that's not a work alarm. Anyway. And I just like scrolling through and I was like reloading. I've seen all this crap. And I was like, oh my God, there's a meeting. Yeah. Yes. And then it took me ages to like, because I took down all my setup, my streaming setup to put it to take some film. I don't know. I had this idea I could take some slow-mo. Look, I had an idea. It didn't work out. ADHD, you know.
I have a lot.
I get it.
Yeah. So, and I was also tired. So I was just like, it started, and then I just couldn't finish it. And then, yeah. So I was listening to the meeting while I was trying to set it all together, and then my arms got tired. So I was listening to the first part of the meeing.
Yeah.
But not really paying attention. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no, we can't do that to Ben. He's only just recovering from the other one.
Oh,
that's mean, Lord Chris.
Oh my goodness.
Christmas spirit. Oh, I got another funny story just before we go. My mate, they were coming over to bring me a care package, and they nearly got into a fight at the 7-Eleven. It was so Australian and Kiwi because it was like, you know, my Indigenous mate getting into a fight with my married cousins, and I'm just thinking, oh my God. I got the video, but it's too shameful for me to send it to anyone. Yeah, it's Christmas. It was Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve. So, but yeah, it was so funny. I was just like, oh, shameful. It was the Kiwis' fault. They don't know how to drive on Australian roads. So they don't know how to drive, honestly. Kia ora, mates.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness.
and they were driving away, and this full-on adults, they're going like, we would have said sorry. We would have said sorry.
I'm usually okay until I start breathing, and then that's when it really hits.
Does milk or custard or something? I think custard would work better than milk because it would coat, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Milk, I find, makes it worse. Typically, I use popper water.
Popper water, what's that?
I'll let him talk me into
like
this.
pop soda or water.
I'm just
one or the other.
You did it for us. You can see it. We're here for you, Ben. We're here with you.
So I got my crochet stuff back today. I'm super excited about that.
Oh,
and Baby Yoda came.
Oh my goodness. My grandprincess loves Baby Yoda. That is awesome. Oh my goodness.
His little robe comes off too. Well, I'm trying to fix this. Hold on.
That is so cute.
In through your nose, out through your mouth.
Right? We're here with you.
I swear the heat's going to my ear.
Yeah. That's why I like spice, because it's like, yeah, I'm ready. Okay.
I think the
I've never
endorphins
done it
Doing
like
really
that
well,
though. Like
Pop.
y'all are extreme, and I'm interested. I'm like interested. My curiosity has been piqued. I think I'm gonna have to try it.
Yeah. I'm going to have to get a couple of those tubes of terrors, send them around. We do them all of us on a meeting.
Right?
And just sit there and
Hey,
eat
watching
them.
Alan. When Alan did it, I'm like,
Hey.
okay, I think I want some of that.
If you
Yeah.
can, in 4 days, be here so Carol can wear her tiara for you.
Yeah.
Pop.
Yeah. Well,
Whew.
oh. Starting to turn into us again.
Well, I have
Okay.
to go because I can't sit in the computer chair too long, which is unfortunate. So
That's all
I
I
love
do
you
anymore.
guys.
No, thank you for
Yeah.
popping in. It was really awesome to see you.
I hope you
Ben's
all
still
have a good
dying, so
day.
just give him a minute, maybe.
Right.
Oh, hang on.
Love you,
I'll do
Christy.
the.
And love you, Christy, if you're still in
I love
here.
you too.
Guys,
It's a good
thank
thing.
y'all so much
It's
for
a,
coming. And I'm
it's a
sorry I
good
Thank
wasn't
thing
able
I'm
you.
in
to see you.
shade.
Do what?
Goodness.
It's a good thing I'm in shade. Otherwise, you'd see my face being all red.
We hope I'm still
Oh,
Yeah. And I'm
I
going to
still.
have to
That's a
go
healthy response, though,
here.
right?
Hmm?
That's a healthy
I'm sorry?
response, though, right? Like, I don't need to be
It's a
worried. That's a
healthy
healthy response.
response.
Oh, I think anybody who would eat one of these in one sitting is a pervert. I've told Tommy that. I've sent him several emails on it. In fact, every time I eat one, I just about send him another one.
Oh my goodness.
The first one I sent him had a whole string of obscenity. And now I just call him a pervert.
You know what I'm gonna
I
do
love
when
it.
this is over is I'm gonna edit this and I'm gonna get that right there and I'm gonna send it to him.
I
Perfect.
just want to say hi to Moni. Hi, Moni. Happy crazy sale day.
Who, Moni?
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen Moni in here before when I'm on a live. But hi, Moni.
It's hard to keep on comments, and so if there's anybody that we're missing or that we're any of that, we're just so glad you're here, and we hope that you guys come
Yes.
back.
Yeah.
Carol's actually running it. She does it every single day at 3:40 p.m. Central Standard Time, and so anytime anybody wants to come on, anytime anybody has something they need to work through, get in here, make it a thing.
Yeah, I think Moni's
Here.
in. Are you in Perth or Tasmania?
Who is it?
Moni.
Yeah, she's fellow living in
What
the
is he doing?
fellow
Oh my
Australian.
god!
What are you using on your... Oh, the...
Oh god, no shopping for me either. No, I stay away from the shops. Perth. Yeah, I thought you were in Perth. So 3 hours behind me, I think. Maybe 4 or 2, 3. I don't know. We don't have daylight savings in Queensland because the cows get confused and the curtains go get lighter.
Okay.
We're a bit behind in Queensland, even though we're.
Whatever, you let me go
All
time
right then.
traveling until I talk to you.
Yeah, exactly. We're behind, but we're ahead of you. So how does that work? So, all right,
You
well, I'm
know,
gonna go.
there's a lot to be said. There's a lot to be said about that.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I love you guys.
I
Love you too.
Tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Y'all are awesome. Thanks for being
Bye.
with us for Christmas.
Take
I
care.
Yes.
love you guys.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Bye.
Love y'all.